Hello everyone to this course, and in this course you're going to cover React Native with Expo from zero to hero. So if you have not done anything with Expo but you're only familiar with React, maybe you are coming from Next.js guys, those are my biggest fan base, those who do Next.js. Here we are with React Native with Expo, and this is going to be a breeze. Okay, so in this crash course we cover all the fundamentals you need to start with React Native. We start with from setting up Android Studio. If you want to do that, by the way, those who have who cannot run Android Studio, your machine is very weak, or you have like 8 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM, you don't have to run Android Studio. I'm just going to show you how to handle that in this crash course. So we create our first project and we cover all the concepts, and the most importantly, we are starting using our NativeWind, which is equivalent of, so if you look at our styles here, we are using Tailwind, okay? So using Tailwind, which is really nice. So I'm just showing you how to set up this project, how to do routing. Importantly, we looked at power routes, layouts, all those nice concepts. And those guys from Next.js, this is going to be a breeze. So we just see, we looked at a detailed components where we looked at images, links, views, and all those nice things. We looked at navigation, like navigation and routing. This is the most, actually the hard concept in mobile development, but we broke down into just simple terms so that you understand it and you implement it. That's why you see we have tab navigation and all those nice things, okay? And then we look at params and SearchParams. That's why we have dynamic products. So if you just go back here, okay, and click on another item, you can see we have those items here, okay? So we are looking at params and SearchParams. Then we of course build some of the components that we have been used. We didn't do data fetching, and that's coming in the next video. So if you just are ready, first like the video and let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome to this course. I'm so much excited for this course. This is one of the most requested course on all my platforms, be it LinkedIn, be it WhatsApp, be it YouTube. Most people have requested for this. This has been one of the most requested videos, tutorials, courses, and today we are starting React Native. Okay, at this point everyone should be excited, and I'm just going to start with some good news. So the good news is that if you are already a React developer, or you are a Next.js developer, this is going to be a breeze. Okay, this is going to be a breeze, and I know how scary it can be, most especially if you have never done any React Native before, or if you have never built a mobile app before. I know it is exciting and scary at the same time, and I'm here to guide you in every step. We are going to look at a step-by-step of how to configure anything, and those who are scared of Android Studio guys, you can actually do away without Android Studio. I'm just going to talk about that in a second, okay? But I'm so much excited. I'm so pumped for this course, okay? If you are pumped, grab your cup of tea or coffee, get your notebook, and just get so close. We are going to be diving into all the necessary concepts. You don't need to get to know all the concepts, guys. I've always told people like this, most people when they are just learning, they try to get everything. You don't need to get everything. You simply need to get the fundamentals that are enough, and this should take you only one video. Guys, I repeat, when you're getting fundamentals of something, you need one video, or you need just like a practice of at least a week. That should be enough, and then you dive into small projects. That's how you get to learn, okay? So this is going to be the only amateur and the only starter video I'm just going to do. Most of the other videos, we are going to be looking at most nice concepts, building small projects, And that's it. And I'm just going to try to make this video as short as possible. It's not going to be a 7-hour course. Trust me, I'm just going to keep it short. We're just going to cover what is necessary. And you're going to be amazed on how easy it is to get started with React Native. Now, I'm not a person who like explaining much of the notes, okay? But I'm just going to say about a few things about React Native, okay? Just going to cover a few things about React Native, but you should just know is a cross-platform, okay? Is a cross-platform, okay? Is a cross-platform React based. Why don't we just search it here? What is React Native? Okay, what is just React Native? And you're going to say is an open source framework created by Facebook for building a native mobile application for both Android using JavaScript and React. So if you already know React and you already know most people say Next.js, you're going to find that this is very, very easy. So that is the first thing you need to understand, that React Native is a cross-platform framework for building mobile apps. Full stop. So yes, I can define that one. I'm just going to add it here. Is a cross-platform framework. And you just put here React framework for building mobile apps, okay, for both Android and React Native. Nice. Okay, so that is nice. That's the only definition you want. Okay, you need to understand. The second one is going to be Expo. Okay, after this you need to understand Expo. So what is Expo? Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to say here, what is Expo? Okay, what is Expo? Expo can refer to different things, but generally it means, okay, let's just say here, React Native Expo, maybe React Native Expo. Okay, so Expo is also an open source framework and platform that simplifies and enhances development of cross-platform mobile application using React Native. So this is very straightforward. Okay, so this is very straightforward. Here, these are the two definitions you need, guys. There is nothing much you need. So Expo is an open source framework and platform that simplifies and enhances development of cross-platform mobile application using React Native. So what you should just take this one, I just already just say like React Native, just take it to be React. So that means you can build applications. So one thing you should just know that you can actually, you can build apps directly using React Native. Okay, so you can just like build apps directly using React Native direct. You don't need Expo. And this is just like in the people who are coming from web, I always compare React Native simply as the way we compare React. So just take React Native as React, and then take Expo as just the way you see Next.js. So this is how I normally compare them. React, you can build application using React, and that has no problem. But we all know how Next.js simplifies things like file-based routing and all those nice things. So that is what Expo does. So Expo is a framework that simplifies building using React Native. And these are the two things you simply need to understand. Okay? Just in your notes, put it there. Expo is similar to Versailles or just similar to Next.js. You're going to see that Expo, so it's just like the way you see, it gives you all the necessary tools you need, okay? Be it hosting, be it what, it gives you all the necessary tools as you can see here. then to experiment the entire development for testing, building, and even deployment. So you can see it gives you all the tools you need to do building, and then we have testing. Okay, we have testing, and then you have also deployment. So it works on those three things. And if you look at what this is, this is what Vercel does. Vercel gives you all the tools for building web applications, testing them, deploying, and all those things. So this is what Expo does also. So I always compare them, and you're going to see even in the architecture, layout, everything, they look very similar. So we're just going to dive into and just plan this video now. Okay, let's just like look at what are we going to cover in this crash course. So I'm just going to go down here. I will say /h2, and what are we going to learn? What do we learn? So let's just go here. I'm just going to open this. I will just open a to-do list. Okay, so the first thing is installation. Okay, and in the installation, you're going to look at installation of, first of all, of the tools you need. Okay, tools you need. And so installation of, maybe I'm just going to say installation of tools, maybe you need. Then we're just going to create our first project. So just going to create our first project just like this, and then we're going to look at the basics. Okay, maybe just that is just like project file walkthrough. Okay, creating, and yes, you're just going to start like maybe comparing web versus maybe React Native, and then we just look at maybe we just say common components. Okay, just going to look at common components here, and then we start just like look at NativeWind. Okay, and then we just look at building some components, and maybe we just also going to do some data fetching. I don't know. So I think these are just like things we just need to get started. And within in between here, I think another thing just going to say navigation and routing. This, of course, this is just the navigation and routing is the biggest, and then this is going to be styling and NativeWind. So just going to cover some of these things here. Okay, just going to cover some of these things, or might just cover all of them. And this is just what you need, by the way, at the beginning. The basic concepts, these are the basic concepts you simply need, and that's it. I'm not going to complicate it. I'm not this person who is a fan of notes. I'm a person who like building stuff, so you know that. Let's talk about the installation of the things you need, or the environment you need first. Now, this is one of the most scary parts actually of mobile app development. When you are starting out, this is the most scary part, because the people tell you about Android Studio. Okay, so one thing that they will always tell you at the beginning is that you need to install Android Studio, and then we'll be using it to give you emulators and all those nice things, okay? But the fact is, you can actually do it without Android Studio. We're going to talk about that one in a second, but let's just say you need to first check your machine, okay? So here, before you start installing anything, I just want to give you a free advice. Please go and check your machine. Go to your computer. If you have a Mac or if you have a PC, I have a PC here. So right click on this and just go to show properties, okay? Look at the properties of your stuff. For instance, the RAM, more especially the RAM, guys, okay? Look at how small my graphic card is. The RAM, the other things, I don't think they will just be really so much, but what cares is the installed RAM, okay? In fact, the usable RAM, because you can find you have 16 and 8 is usable. So make sure that your RAM, we're just going to dive into the properties right now. If you just go here and you search Android Studio machine requirements, just type this in the browser, okay? I do not want frustrations. This is one of the most frustrating part of learning mobile app development. You start downloading Android Studio, and then you install it, the machine goes crazy, and then things are not running the way they are supposed to, and you are frustrated, okay? So the first thing is just go here and start typing this Android Studio machine requirements, and you're going to see here it requires a 64-bit operating system, okay? A second generation Intel Core or a new processor like AMD equivalent. The most important one, you can see I said 8 GB RAM, 8 GB of disk space, IDE plus Android SDK, and emulator, you can see here. Now they say a minimum screen resolution of this 1280, which one everyone has, but they say here, mark this, for optimal performance, especially when using the emulator. 16 GB of RAM and a solid state drive are recommended. I also recommend that you need to have 16 GB on your machine, okay? So if you find yourself in a space of 8 GB, you don't need to panic. But what I'm trying to say is you might not need to install Android Studio, okay? Guys, normally I added Android Studio at the beginning when my machine, you can just, of course, just say Android Studio download. It's a big download, so take your time, okay? Just go ahead and take your time. You just go ahead and download this. They always, by the time you watch this video in the future, you might just find that it doesn't look like this, but just know the download will always just be at developer.androidstudio.com, and the downloads, they will always just like put this Android Studio, right? So just go ahead and download only if your machine matches 16 GB RAM. I would recommend, if you have 16 GB RAM, just go ahead and download it. If it doesn't, please, there are some other ways and better ways you can develop without getting frustration, okay? So only download if your machine allows, because when you start the emulator, most especially, the machine is going to crash. Sometimes it is very slow to start, and the whole development is a frustration. So only do it if your machine is somehow powerful, okay? That is done. So just go ahead and install Android Studio, and after installing it, you're going to have a screen like this one. Just go to Actions and just go to Virtual Device Manager. So when you open Virtual Device Manager, it opens this one. So you're not going to be having any. So here is where you have emulators. Emulators are just like a representation of a device, most especially a mobile phone or a mobile device that you can emulate, or you can test your mobile app devices. The way we use a browser, here we use emulators, okay? The good thing is you can use your phone as an emulator, okay? That is the most nice thing that Expo has ever done. they made this process really seamless. Okay, so you just need to come here and add a new device, and then you see you have to go ahead and select. You can just select this one, and look at the one which has this symbol for Play Store, like this. Just go next, and just you're going to go ahead and download. You know, by default they might just like have not installed any device, so you just need to go ahead and select next, and then you select here. I would just say like you select the API. Now the bigger the API, like 35 will work very well, but the bigger the API, the bigger the space that emulator is going to occupy. Okay, so bigger emulator with the biggest, or these up-to-date API levels, they occupy bigger spaces. Again, if the API level goes below 33, it might not work. So make sure you are just between 33 and 35. Okay, those are like the good ones. So you can just go ahead and just like look for any here, just go ahead next, and then download that. It takes a lot of time, so you might just need to be patient with it and you download it. Okay, just be patient, or you can just like get another video guiding you properly on how to install this, but I don't want to spend time on it as it is not very like something you can't do without. Okay, so you can just go ahead, add an emulator. I have only have one here. So if you just go to this device here, if I just say edit, you can see it is Pixel Expo API 33, and it is, you can see the size Pixel Expo 5.7, so that you can just also just get something like this one. It is by Tiramisu. Okay, you can just get, or you can just also guide me. Random circumstances, by the way, I don't use the emulator. I don't. Even when my machine is somehow capable, I find it so much struggling when I'm just like using the emulator. Okay, so that's how powerful the emulators are. You just need to have really a good device. So what I just normally do, I always use my phone. So if I just come here, you said I have my phone actually connected here. So you can just simply, or apps. So you see that on this, you can see I have my phone here, and the phone, you can see it has this Expo Go app somewhere. Okay, I just need to install only one app. Okay, just going to say Go. So you just need to install this Expo Go app on your phone. Okay, you just need to, let me first unlock my phone here. So I always just use this app here, the Expo Go app here, and this is straight from my phone. Okay, so this is just a representation of my phone. Okay, it doesn't actually just like operate here. I just was trying to see if I can record with it, but it didn't work. But I'm just going to close it. But I'm just trying to show you that the only thing you just need to do is install the Expo Go app. So after you have installed this Android Studio, you have also added an emulator device. You can just go ahead. I'm just going to do code boot, and this is going to spin up this emulator here. Okay, this is going to spin up an emulator. Okay, sometimes they also take a lot of time to start. As I've said, that these emulators, that's how they are. Now, if the emulator is all over the screen like this and it is too big, you can use Control Arrow down to minimize it. Okay, just like this. Nice. So you can just like put it aside here. We'll be using it in a second. Now, if you have not installed this Android Studio, the only thing you just need to do ahead is to install the Expo Go app. So Expo Go app. So just go ahead and install this Expo Go app. Okay, we're using SDK 53. This is the latest, guys. SDK 53 has all the nice things. Okay, make sure you're using SDK 53 and above. I know those who are going to watch in the future, this will be so cool. Maybe you're going to find latest SDK, maybe is 56 or something. But currently right now, as I'm recording this video, we are on SDK 53, the latest, and this is the nice one. Okay, so you just go ahead and install this on your mobile phone. Just go to Play Store, type in Expo Go app, download the Expo Go app. That's it. You are ready to go ahead and start. That's the only thing you simply need. You need the Expo Go app. That's it. That's what you need. Okay, just go ahead and install the Expo Go app, and that's it. Now, so in the here in under the installation, so this here, yes, I just add some notes here. So you just need to install, okay, Android Studio. So you say Android Studio and Expo Go app. So you can just like use one of the two, because Android Studio will give you the emulator. So this give you the ability to add emulator. So when you start the emulator, they will install the Expo Go app automatically. But if you're using your phone, simply install the Expo Go app. Nice. So we are done with that. Installation. If you don't just want to buy yourself, you can leave the Android Studio and just go here. Of course, I expect at this point to be having Node.js installed. Okay, you need just to be having Node.js installed on your device, on your machine, and that's it. Now let's go to the beautiful parts, or the nice parts of this tutorial, right? Which is creating our first project. Okay, since we're using the mighty Expo, as I've told you, Expo has everything done the way Next.js does. I like the way I don't know who is copying who, guys, but I just love it. If you are familiar with Next.js, you will find Expo as a breeze. Like every time when Next.js does something, Expo does exactly a similar thing. Like they have all the image components, they all have link components, they all have the same installation, the way you install. You look at this command, npx create expo app at latest. If I open the Next.js documentation, okay, and you just also go to installation, like if you look at these commands, like these are the same commands almost. Like this is npx create next app, this is npx create expo app at latest. Exactly, you simply change next and you put expo. Okay, so of course I'm just going to be using PNPM for building all our projects. Okay guys, so I'm just going to go and open my stuff here. Okay, let me close this. So I'm just going to go to my workspace, and specifically I'm just going to open this. I have React Native projects, I have YouTube, so I just have this folder for React Native YouTube. Okay, so I'm just going to open this, right click and just open git bash. I'm just going to maximize this so that you guys can see it very nicely. Let's create our first project using PNPM. So of course here they are using npx, okay, or they're using npm to create this, but I always want to create using PNPM. The reason is PNPM, of course, it helps us to do a lot of stuff. Like it has those it saves space, that is one thing, and it is somehow so fast than this normal npm. So I'm just going to be using that. So PNPM create expo app, just like this, and let's just name it, for instance, basics, just like that. Okay, and you can see now it will just go ahead. Of course, me, I had already done or installed already previously some React Native, so this should just go ahead and start downloading right away. Okay, it will just like download this latest. So if you just look at this, it will install the latest SDK, which is SDK 53, okay, which is a SDK 53. So that should be really nice and great. Let's just give it some seconds. This will finish and I'll be back. Okay, so this took about just like about maybe 10 seconds to finish. That was nice. So let's just cd into the basics. Let's open this code dot. Let me just open this in VS Code. Now you can just go ahead and close this. And we are here in the VS Code with our freshly new app. Okay, this is so nice. And you know, as I've said, that Expo is more like Next.js. If you look at it, the whole layout, how everything is done, it is just like the Next.js project, guys. So the app is where we actually put all the pages, all the screens, or the pages are created within the app folder. Okay, and the assets, this one is similar to the way you see the public folder. So this assets is the public folder in here. Then we have the components. This is just the normal components. If you look at them, they have normal components. Okay, like the normal components. They even have UI. Like, this is nice. Okay, so then you have constants. Then you have hooks. Okay. If you look at this, if you didn't know that this is React Native, you may actually think this is a Next.js application, guys. Like, this is so similar, okay? Let's just go ahead and start this up and look at some things, okay? So I'm just going to start pnpm. So I'm just going to pnpm start, just like this, okay? pnpm start. Now, if you used your phone, you installed the Expo Go app, pay attention. So if you just look at what they brought in here, okay, they just give you a lot of things. So they started the Metro bundler. So behind the scene, Expo uses Metro bundler. Of course, we're going to be breaking those technical terms as we move on. Right now, you don't need those nitty-gritty terms, like those big terms, guys. No, you simply just need to get started. Dive in, and those bigger terms, how Expo works behind the scene. Did you know, for instance, Expo API routes, they use Cloudflare workers? No. So you're just going to be covering those concepts as we move on. You don't need to cram or get all these concepts at the beginning. No. You simply just need to get started, get the ones you want, specifically for that big project, and then we move on. But so to get started, simply bring your phone, okay? Simply get your phone and point to this here, this QR code, okay? So if you use the Expo Go app, open the Expo Go app, tap on to scan with QR code, point this QR code. This is going to go ahead and open your project. Now, you can open using other ways. Another one is web. So the good thing is that also, if you don't want to use your phone, you can also use web, okay? Then you can use Expo Go app. Now, for instance, you can open Android, you can open web using W, you can reload using R. So every time you press R on the keyboard, it will load the app. Okay, and other many tools. So I'm just going to go ahead and press A, which stands for open Android. And because I already have the emulator, and guys, this is the thing that I don't just tell you, like you can see here, like with emulators, that's the problem with emulators. Sometimes, like even when the PC is powerful, you end up having this. Okay, you end up having this kind of stuff. You end up having this kind of stuff here because they actually have a lot of build cache and all those kind of stuff. So I always also encountered these kind of things. System UI isn't responding, and then you end up just like closing the app, then restarting. The whole build process becomes a pain. Okay, Sometimes it just like always just like that. But so this is how it brings. This is the home screen. You can see you have already some tabs here, and you can see like, I don't know, I'm just going to say close the app. And I don't know, so I just need to restart the device. Those are the things why I don't really like this stuff, okay? Like this random circumstances, just because I'm going to be recording tutorials using it, but it just always just like stresses me out sometimes. So you can see I have two tabs. Like they started by giving you already some nice stuff going on here, like this, okay? They already have some tabs going on and the stuff here. So you can see explore things, file-based routing, Android and web support, images, custom fonts, and all the other things. You can also open this on the web. Okay, as I've said, you can open this on the web. So let's just say if I click on this, is it going to open the web? Like I also already use the web, okay? But you can also use the web. Okay, you can also just use the web. Just like wait for it. It's going to go ahead, and I think it is compiling for the web. If you just go back down here, you can see it just like building for the web. Now, if Expo Go app also stresses you on your mobile phone, for some reason it's not working, so you can just go to the route of using the web. So you can also use the web wrapper. And as you can see here, it is just building. In a second, it should just give us the app. Nice. Okay, so you can see this is exactly the same. Now I can just also go ahead and put it in this emulator here. I'm not sure if this is going to work nicely with it. Just to give you a feel, I guess. And you can see if your system is already using dark mode. You can see it comes with dark mode support. So you may just like play around using the web. You can just use the web plus this emulator that comes in the browser, and it gives you a good feel. I remember my first tutorial I watched, I used this trick. I used the web plus this emulator to be also having the same exact experience. Okay, and if you just like look on the web, the good thing with the web, like this gives you the ability to understand that these tabs are actually pages. You can see we have two pages. We have the Explorer and the Home. So the Home, you can see like here we have these nice tabs. Okay, nice. Okay, so going back this, I'm just going to be using this emulator. Let's just say go through some of the most nice things you need to understand. Okay, so basically this is a React app, as simple as that. We're not just here, we're using different things. So in the app is where we put the files. Now we're using the same concept of layouts. We're just going to talk about that in routing. So if you just come here, we have already created our first project. Now let's just go ahead and change at least one word at least. Okay, so where do you get started? But if you just see here, step 1, edit, app, tabs, index, see changes, and then if you just say one, you can just say go ahead and just open here. So you just open tabs. So, and then inside the tabs, then I'm just going to go here. And I'm just going to, you can just go and see how they are putting this. And I want to leave this one because I'm just going to use it to learn some few things. Okay, I just want to go inside below this app. I just want to put the text. Now, if you are coming from the word of web development, I know we are using of the web components, divs. So let's talk about those ones just a second. Comparing here the web components and React Native components. So down here, I'm just going to say the major components that you'll be using is a H2, let's just say here major components that you'll be using frequently. Okay, let's start with a div. So just every time you feel like you want to write a div, okay, or an equivalent of a section or what, just know that this one is same as a view. Okay, so every time you write a view, a div, we just use a view, just like that. Every time you want to write a paragraph, just write text, just like this. Just like text, like this. So these are the two components you're going to be needing, just these two components. And then another one that is common that you're going to see is going to be a button. So every time you want to write a button, just use TouchacleOpacity. And this is how you're going to learn them. There is no any other way. TouchacleOpacity represents a button. Then a link, so for the link, the anch tag, this is represents by a link component. So there is a link component from Expo, from Expo. So this is nice. Like these are only three things or four things you need to understand how to do this. For the image, img. So now here we have two components you can use for this. You can use Expo image. So here there is Expo image. I think we should just get used to using Expo image. But there is also React Native image. So there is also the image component from React Native. So there are two, you can use any of these. They are all the nice. But of course, Expo image comes with optimizations. As I've said, like the link component, we understand it from the web. Next.js has a link component. The image component, we understand it also from the web. Next.js image component, here we have Expo image, like the same thing, okay? So these are like the major components we'll be using. So just go and write something. So if I wanted to write a div, okay, if I wanted to write a div, I can just go ahead and remove some of these things, by the way. Let me just go ahead and remove some of these things. I will just only leave. Okay, let me just leave only one thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. I'm just going to put inside here, I'm just going to put view. So if you just look at the view, there are so many places you can get, you can just get lost. But the view we are interested in, and this happens a lot by the way for beginners, you find is importing view from React Native Reanimated, and you get some bugs. Please just use view from React Native. Okay, view from React Native, as simple as that. So view. So this is just like a div. Inside the div, just put a paragraph, which is text. And text, we also get it from React Native, guys. Text from React Native, just like this. And now I can put my new text. In fact, let's just like say hello world. Why not hello world? Okay, let's go. And we have hello world. Nice. I love this. I like this. Okay, let's go ahead and add an image. Now let's talk about the image for a second. So if you look at the image, okay, I can just clean up, remove everything here, just remove all these things. You don't need them. Now look at the image. So the image, you can use the image from Expo image, which is recommended that we use from Expo image. Or you could just say also import the image from React Native, and now we can comment out this. This still works very nicely, okay? But we are recommended to use Expo image, but even this one still works nicely, right? So you can just get the image one from the React Native, but since we are recommended there is an optimized way of doing it, we are using the Expo image. Is that clear? So for images, we are using Expo image, and for links, we are going to look at that. Now, this is the image. Now the image are different when you have the image from internet and you have the image that is simply normal. Okay, if you just have the image from the normal image, let me just copy this. So you can just build a view here, just like this. Inside, I add an image like this. So this is a logo, right? And if you just look at this, look at the require. So if you have this, you see we have at assets, images, partial React logo, PNG. So if you just go inside assets, images, we have all these things like the splash screens, the logos, and all those nice things. Okay, so if you want to put your images, you put it here, and then you just come and use it using this require. Okay, so this is how you use it. Now, what I find it fascinating, you're going to see this. Let's go and get just like an image. Of course, I will just use free pick. Just going to go here, phones and tablets. Okay, let's just get one of the images that is nice here. I'm just going to say, for instance, a handsome man, just like this. Okay, just get any of these images and use it in our application. So you can just go ahead and copy the image URL just like this. So if you just copy the image address, so I want to duplicate this. Okay, now inside the source, now instead of just like putting it like this, require is used when the image is locally like this. Random circumstances, you can just use another one called URI. So if you just have a link, the way I do like this, this is the way to go. You need to use it like this. Let's go back to here. So you can see we have the logo, and of course the image is not looking great. Of course, we can just add styles. So you can just go ahead and look at the styles. But in styles, we can define the normal styles. So for instance, we can just say, hey, let's just say 120, whatever it means. But you can say just put height. Okay, I can just say border radius. Okay, just border radius, and I say you can say 20 like this. And now you can see it is rounded. And this is actually to say this is how we add styles. Okay, this is how we add styles. We have inline styles, so you can just add all the styles the way we define them in React, because this is actually you put inline styles in React. Okay, this is not something which is new. Okay, so you can just add your old inline styles just like this. The difference I wanted to show you here is if you're using a local image versus if you're using a hosted image. Hosted images, we use the source URI, and for the local images, we use require. Okay, so this is just a very big difference I wanted to say. The second thing about styles is to know that you can't just like write them in another, like down here, you create styles. This is also that not a new concept. Creating styles, you can create them in Next.js or React application, just like this. On here, we use style sheet from React Native. And then you say style sheet.create styles, and then you pass in your styles like this. Now, we are not going to be using, mostly we're not going to be using this. We are guys who use Tailwind all the time, guys. So we're going to be using Tailwind, okay? We're going to be using Tailwind, and let's just get into it. We're just going to go ahead and install Tailwind before we dive into routing, okay? So already, right now, you guys, like we have already covered some nice concept already, guys, okay? You already know the major components we need to use, which is, for instance, the view and text, which we already have used, okay? This is, we have this view and text. This one is a div. So for instance, you can just go here and you just like, can add like the style like this. And then like you go ahead and decide the way you say the div. And then this one is the representation as a paragraph. And if you want a button, okay, let's just say you want to add a button. As I said, just use touchable opacity. Touchable opacity. Just, okay, did I say touchable opacity? Just use touchable opacity for now. And it comes also from React Native. And then inside add text. Just like this, my button, just like that, my button. Let's go back, and you have a button which can be clicked. You can see it can be clicked, and look at that effect there. Okay, of course we are going to be looking at on clicks, how we can add on click and all those nice things, but this is React, guys. As I said, apart from just like text and view and touchable opacity, this remains as, you know, React. So you can say, for instance, on, okay, I think you just have to on press. So for instance, instead of on click, we use on press, and then you can just go ahead and write the function when this is clicked. So instead of on click, we have on press. Are you writing down, guys? Note down. We're not going to repeat these ones as we are moving on. Okay, so this is same as on click. Okay, so let's just go in styling. Most of the most important things is to right away start styling using Tailwind. Okay, most of the applications we are going to be building, styles can be complicated, and there are so many packages for React Native that are handling styling. You are going to see we have React Native paper. Okay, React Native paper. Okay, so there are so many packages, guys, out there for styling. Just know I started with those ones running up and down. So for instance, we have React Native paper. It has components. We have React Native, I think React, can I say React Native, is it like base? Like if you just say React Native like component libraries, there are so many things that they are going to bring. Okay, but these all they are somehow, for instance, we have native base, so you can see here. And by the way, Expo has also brought Expo UI, which is really nice, life changing, by the way. So because they have been bringing one component after the other, one component after the other. But finally, they also have Expo UI. We're going to be looking at that one. But you can see React Native paper. Then we have this MUI, which is material UI. You all know that one. And then you have native base. Then you have glue stack. Like, there are so many component libraries, guys. We're not going to use all those ones. Like, the more you bring in these libraries, they come with their own complexity. Then, you know, so you can see there is glue stack. I think this is also the new one, which is just saying that it is React Native components library and patterns. So we're going to be building our own components, okay? And I already have tons of components that I have already built. I will be sharing them at the end of this video. If I remember, I will show you the project with about 7 applications that I have already designed, that with tons and tons of components that we are going to be using in our apps. So if I remember, I will show you it, and I will be exposing those components so soon, so that we'll be using them in our applications. We build our own form components using React Hook Forms. We build our tab navigations, our cards, and everything we need in our applications. So we might just not need this. The only thing we just need is NativeWind. So I'm just going to go here and search for NativeWind. And they have new docs, by the way, looking amazing. Okay, they have the new docs. I like the feel. The new docs, I think they were going for, if you look at the new docs for NativeWind, they look like Tailwind. I don't know if you just get it. Like, they were just trying to go for this look, I guess. If you look at this look for Tailwind version 4 and you look at NativeWind, like this is the same vibe. Look at this. Yeah. They were going for the same, almost the same vibe. Okay, but let's get into it. Just go to docs and let's start with installation. So this is just allow us so that we can write our Tailwind CSS within this. I know guys who are coming from Next.js world, React world, this is of course good news. You can write your Tailwind within our mobile app applications. Let's just go here and install this. So you can also start a new project. I don't recommend to use this. Okay, don't. Just simply just go ahead and say installation with Expo, and we're using PNPM. So just get these two commands. Get this, copy them. Okay, and I just normally just go ahead and stop the server. So let's stop the server, and let's go ahead and install this. So some of them are already installed, the React Native reanimated, but since the command says this, I'm just going to go copy these and simply install them like so. Okay, so it is installing NativeWind and also Tailwind behind the scene. Okay, so the second step after the installation is set up the Tailwind CSS. So run npx tailwind init to create the Tailwind config file. Okay, so simply go ahead and run npx tailwind init. So let's just give it a second. It should just get done in a second. Okay, it's done. So run npx tailwind init just like this, and this is going to go ahead and create the Tailwind config file. So if you look at this, we have now a Tailwind config file. So we just simply need to paste this. So copy everything from here, just go ahead and paste it here. And by the way, those days this Tailwind version 4 was not stable. Right now it is fully stable. NativeWind 4 is fully stable with new docs. Everything is nice. We used to have a lot of bugs between NativeWind version 2 and version 4, because 4 had bugs and it was not working very well. But right now it is stable and completely works nicely. Then the second thing, create this file global.css. So I'm just going to say touch. So go ahead and touch global.css. Those who don't know touch is simply for creating a file from the command line. So I have now global.css somewhere here. Okay, just simply add these files. And then next, by the way, I have all this documentation on, I might just forget. I have this on the CodeMint. Those who want, of course, nice web applications, we are ever putting apps here for you. Okay, and of course the mobile apps ones, they are also to be coming and they will be featured here. Okay, you can see mobile app. So I have this. If you go to guides, there is I haven't changed this, but this is React Native with Expo guide. I have the whole entire guide here, guys. So you create the new Expo app, and then you go ahead and install the NativeWind just like this. And then step number 2, npx tailwind init, copy this. Okay, so I just want to just show you that we have this. Okay, and there's one thing that they don't talk about in here in this NativeWind documentation. After adding this here, Tailwind config here, so this is what is going to be compiling the files. If I just go back here, this is what's going to be compiling the files, this one. So if we are going to be compiling, you can see this app here is not there. This app is not there. Okay, this app is not there. So just go ahead and add or duplicate, or simply just copy from here, this documentation here. I'm just going to leave a link to this. Simply add this one, because it already has this app here, /app. or you're supposed to include this app, because we're going to be writing some files within this app and it is not included. So simply replace this with this one. So we have app. So if you have any other place apart from app components, you can add. Let's say you wrote here premium components or premium apps or whatever, and you're going to be writing that Tailwind. So you just need to add it in this application Tailwind config. Next is add the base. So I would just want to go back here to make sure that everything is matching. So you can see next after this, add the Babel preset. So you just need to simply create this file, babel.config.js. So you can just copy this file and simply say touch. That file is not here. It is not there. Okay, so you just simply need to create it. So just say touch and then create this file. Okay, so inside here, let's go ahead and add this. Copy this and add inside here. Nice. Next, create or modify your metro config.js. Also, this file is also not there. Okay, so this one, go ahead and also create this. Copy and just say touch. Just this. And let me just go ahead and add this inside that file in the metro file. So the metro config. And now next, import your CSS file. So you can just now go ahead and import this in wherever you just want this. So we're also going to add it in the layout. Now, those who are coming from Next.js world, you know what this means. The layout file means exactly the same. You can put the shared files, you can add everything within here. In fact, this is why you even put the fonts. Okay, this is why you put the fonts. You can see the fonts are loaded within here. This is where you put your fonts, this is where you put everything, and you can see this is a road layout. The only difference is what it returns, because here you see we are not passing in children, because the children here are actually the stacks, these ones here. Okay, just going to talk about that one in a second. Okay, just going to talk about that one in a second. Routing, because this is a big thing when it comes to React Native. Okay, so here we just need to put our styles. I'm just going to say import. Okay, and I'm just going to say, so you could just use art, I think, and then we just say global.css. So you can see this one here at global.css. Nice. And then next is modify your app.json to use bundler to metro. This is already using metro bundler. So if you just go to our app.json and you just go here to web, okay, it is already using metro for bundling. Okay, it is just only using metro for bundling, so that one is already nice. Then TypeScript, this comes with TypeScript support. I don't know if you just even noticed. We just like in TypeScript already, there is no anything. It's like JavaScript or what. We just already in TypeScript, which is a cool thing. And then, so you need to handle TypeScript. If you're using TypeScript in your project, you need to set up type definition and blah, blah. So you simply need to create one file and be careful with this file. Copy the name the way it is here. Okay, NativeWind-env.d.ts. So copy this and let's create it. So I'm just going to say touch. Let me just go here and say touch. Touch this. And now inside this file here, NativeWind, this is this one. Okay, let's go ahead and add this line. Only this line here, like this. Okay, and that's it. They say do not call this file nativewind.d.ts because if you do this, you're going to have caused a lot of problems. They put the question here, they are not the same. This is nativewind-env. This is nativewind.d.ts. So now let's go ahead and test this. So they give us something to test it. Just copy this and we put some styles. So let's go to our app. inside the tabs, and then here, let me just go down here. Below here, I'm just going to add the text here. So you can see if you already have Tailwind IntelliSense plugin installed, this should be nice. So let's just go ahead and say welcome to NativeWind. Let's start the project. So pnpm start, just like this. This should be able to start our application. So this went ahead and compiles nicely. And we are starting the Metro bundler. Okay, so this just takes like a few seconds and then starts. I'm just going to go ahead and open this in Android. So we already have this, I guess, open. So let me just go ahead and reload using the R. So R reload is the app. Okay. And nice, 100%. Let's just give it some seconds. And we just want to see, nice, welcome to NativeWind, and it is working so nicely, guys. Okay, so this is great. So what this means is that we can go back to our image and remove these things here. The style, I can remove the style and the border radius and use the class name, and I can just go ahead and say, so better if I save, this goes and disappears. Let's give it height of 96 and let's say rounded, and let's say maybe 3XL. Save. Okay. The image, the height, guys. So the height, some of the features in React Native, they tend not to, not all features in Tailwind, they work perfectly here. You have to know that one. Some of them, they don't, okay? But I didn't expect height not to work for some reason. And let me just try something. Let me just say height. Let me just put style back. And I'm just going to say height to 120. And roundness, I don't know if the image from Expo image does not respond to the styles. Let me just try to use the one from just from and see. Yeah, that is something to note. Actually, I didn't notice this one. I didn't know that one, guys. I've just learned it right now with you guys. So the image from Expo image does not respond to the styles, the Tailwind styles, while the image from this React Native here, it is the one which is responding to the styles. So you can see now, I can remove height and then I add height 96 and nice. So you can see it here. So this works really nicely here. Okay. So for the Expo image, if you're using Expo image, then we need to use the normal styles. Okay. The inline styles. So that one we've just like learned all of us. So this is, we're going to be now styling using, okay. We're going to be styling using NativeWind, okay? So all our styles, let's just now dive in the next section. Let's dive into routing, okay? So I know very well, most of us, we are using of the file-based routing. So if you just go to Expo and you just like say routing, they have a whole router. Okay, the whole entire router. Okay, they have entire file-based routing. You can see core concept of file-based routing. So this, starting from SDK 50 and above, they brought in a concept of file-based routing. This was not there, guys. I told these guys are copying Next.js. Whatever they bring, they also bring it. So they brought in file-based routing to simplify the creation of screens or pages. Okay, so you can see all screens or pages are files inside the app directory. This is exactly the same thing with Next.js. I told you, guys who are coming from Next.js, they will find this as a breeze. Okay, so to give you an example is, apart from this, and by the way, did you notice this syntax here is for groups? Okay, if you're just coming from Next.js, you know very well this is how we create things. Let me just like put here routing. This is serious, guys. I'm into liking this. I'm having fun right now. So just say routing. Okay, so the first thing is just know we're using file-based routing, meaning that if you create a file inside the app folder, okay, it becomes a page or it becomes a screen. Okay, so what that means is that if I just went in any place like here, and within, so long as I'm within the app here, and I just simply just go ahead and create a new file, and let's call this file any name. Now the difference is that here you can just name a file the way it is, or you create it a folder. Okay, they are the same. You can create a folder, let's say home folder, and you put index.tsx, or you can simply name it the name of the file. Let's say I name this as home.tsx. And now if you use the RFC, just simply try React Native function. We've been using RFC, React Functional Component. Now you can write React Native Functional Component, just like this, RNF. Okay, and that is like if you already have that extension for ES7, I guess if I go to extensions, it must be using the ES7 React Native snippets. Just go ahead and just like search for that extension. I'm very sure if you're using Next, you already have it somehow, somewhere. This might be, you must be already having this. Okay, React Native snippets. So that's the cool thing with it. So you can just create this, and let's name this home. And then you can see this is a div, this is a paragraph, right? And then you say my home, and why not giving it some things? For instance, flex. Okay, and I could just of course give it flex 1, just like this, to finish the whole entire screen. And just going to just give this one text blue, 600 font bold, text 3 Excel, and let's give this one some padding. So I'm just going to say margin top of 16, just like this. Okay, so this becomes a page. Okay, and so it is a page. Let's open also on the web. So just going to place W, and this is going to open in the browser, just like this. Okay, so this is compiling, I believe so. Let's just give it some seconds to compile. But basically, when you create a page, it's just like literally a page. Okay, the way we have our pages. So this becomes our home.tsx, which becomes /home. Okay, so let's just like wait for a second, but we can put also, we can just go ahead, put a link that takes us to that page. So let's talk about the link component. Okay, so you can just go to any of these places in the index where we have our images here. And can I just like put this down to avoid that blinking screen? So down here, you can just go ahead and put a link. So we have this, and you can just go ahead and put the link. Now they have this link from Expo router, guys, not link from React Native navigation, React Native, no. Expo link here, Expo router, just like this. Just go and say visit home, and just here, I'm just going to add href, just like this. And look at this. They're using TypeScript to show you all the links in the entire application. And the one we have just created, you can just say it is this /home. So you can see this is just a page. Okay, so let's go there. Of course, we can style this. Normally, this one accepts, I think, the class name nicely. So we can just say, for instance, text to Excel, like then text blue. I'm not sure if this actually accepts the styles, but let's just like do this. Go back. So the web has already compiled, and if you click visit home, and you can see simply /home. You see, simply /home. This is a normal link. I'm just going to do it the same here. Go ahead and I'm just going to drag this here and just click visit home, and voila, we are on the home page. Okay, we are on the home page or the home screen. So creating files is as easy as that. Navigating to the files, we use the link component. Like, this is simply like web. Like, why do I feel like React Native is easy like this? Dude, like, people used to say like it is very complicated. It's not. Now, let's talk about more things. Okay, so we already now established that creating pages is a breeze using the concept of the file-based routing, right? So you simply create a file and it becomes a file. Simply give it and this. There's a second concept that you need to understand is the concept of routes. Okay, so we have the groups and layouts. So if you're coming from Next.js, probably you are a master to this one because we use this a lot. Okay, we build groups and layout based on this concept that the application or applications we build, they can be grouped. So you can find you have, for instance, let's say you have an application. Let's say you have an application which has two parts. The front layer, so you have the front pages, and you also have the dashboard pages. So you know this is something which is a common pattern. You have the front pages and the dashboard pages. Okay, so this is a common pattern. So you find, for instance, here you have pages like, let's say you have the home, then you have services page, and then you have something else. I don't know. You can find like you have this home, services, and maybe, and what? Just say you have home, services, and about. Okay, just like this. And then you find in the dashboard, you have something else. So for instance, you have in the dashboard, you have settings, you have profile page, and then you have also, of course, the dashboard pages. So these pages can't look the same. Okay, the front pages, they will have their own vibe, and the dashboard pages, they have also their own vibe. For instance, this one, we normally use the tab navigation. In the web, this we normally use, for instance, if I went into an application, let's say, why not the Excel API Studio? So like if you have, this is the home page. In the website, we always use this navigation, the top nav bar. In the React Native world, we always use the bottom navigation, which makes sense. And then when you visit the dashboard, we always use the sidebar like this. And in this case, for the case of the mobile app, this is where we have drawers. So they can use a drawer if it was a mobile app, right? So these pages always, you want to differentiate like tab navigation, and then here you want to use, for instance, a drawer. Something like this. So you find that what differentiates this one is using the concept of groups and layouts, and they work exactly the way they work in the web. Now, I normally find this concept explained like people struggling with this concept like sometimes you'll be watching React Native tutorials and someone is explaining this concept really and it becomes more complicated. I tend to find that if you already know this concept from the web, this is going to be a breeze. So the layout, the React Native gives you one master layout. So if you look at this, we come when we have one layout. And as we said, this is a root layout. Like this is the one which controls the whole entire app. This is where we put our globe.css. This is where we put our fonts and everything else. Like if I had the authentication provider, or if I want to put providers, would wrap them in this root layout. And you can see here, they have this dark mode provider, which they are wrapping actually the whole entire application. This is the purpose of the root layout, okay? Now, instead of the navigation, here navigation is basically 2 or 3 individual navigations, but the popular ones is the stack. And the stack comes from Expo router. Like this is in those old ones, they used to use React navigation, but right now behind the scene, this Expo router uses React Native navigation. You don't need to worry about that one. Right now we're using stacks. They are very easy to use and they are really nice. Okay, so instead of returning the way we do in the web, the children, you simply return the stack, because the stack is the one which holds the pages. As you can see, stack.screen, these are the pages. So instead of the children in the web are the pages. Here it is stack.screen. So this is just like a div holding all the pages. So just know like this is the children. Okay, this represents the children, the stack. And then you can just like put this. Now, the good thing is that instead, if you remember, in this, you can create your stuff here. You can create the front pages like this. You can create the dashboard pages. Let's do that. So you can just go here, you create a new group. So you just come here and just do this, create new groups. You can just say this, and you say front pages, like this. And then you also create another one for the dashboard pages. So you can say dashboard pages, just like this. Okay, so we have the tabs. So this, I could rename this to anything. You don't need to name it tabs, okay? But just like name it tabs, of course, to simplify your life. So let's just know this is where they have put the tabs. But if you look inside, they have a lot of pages inside the tabs, which shows you that this is a simply a group, okay? So for instance, actually, I can just like change, I can change this, but just leave it. So inside this, we can put our pages. So in the front page, let's just put our home. So like this home, let's add it here. Okay, then I can create other pages like about. So I can simply duplicate this, rename it to about page. So like this is about, and then you can just say about. So just say about, and then you say about page, just like this, about page. Okay, just like that. And now, so we have the about, we have the home. Of course, we can route there. The same thing here, we can just say create the dashboard. So you can just say inside here, let me just create the dashboard.tsx and rnf. And then I just say dashboard, just like this. Okay. So after this, now this is where the layouts come in. So if you want to give this a different layout and this one a different layout, this is where it comes in handy. So let's look at the layout file under circumstances. Like this is a root layout. If you look at it, it has a simple stack. Okay, it has a simple stack, a stack.screen. this means it is just a page. And you can see the more you stack the screens, the more you add the pages. Now, of course, we have, for instance, the bottom navigation. We can copy from this, okay? Instead of just like returning the stack, which are just like simple pages, we have another navigation, which is tabs. So we have 3 navigations. Navigation. We have stacks. Okay, we have tabs, and then we have drawer. So like these are like the popular ones. So you can see we're using in the root layout, we're using this stack, and this we're just going to be using. And then in this other one, the tabs, we're using the tabs, and this helps us to create the bottom tab navigation. Okay, so for simplicity, this is how you do it. We're just going to show you how to create the tabs, but this is how you can actually do the tabs. So the tabs is a container where you can do a lot of customizations and all that stuff, nice things. And then let's just look at it. There are some of the things we're just going to be looking at here on this tab: active tint color and blah blah, header shown or not, the tab bar, this. So basically what I can do is I can just copy this the way it is, and I just go to this and I just copy this layout, and it starts with underscore layout, underscore layout.tsx, and I'm just going to copy and paste this here and also paste this here. Now in this, we can just go ahead and change things. For instance, we have 2 pages. We have the home and about. So you can just come here. You say the name here. This is the name of the page. Okay, let's just understand this. In the tab.screen, you put the name of the page because the screen is the page. So just put here, for instance, we have home. So you can say home. You can change the icons. I'm just going to show you how to change these icons, but you can just change these icons. For simplicity, just like leave there, this one. And then this one, we have the about. So you can just come here and say about. So if you see they have a custom component here for the icon, so you can just go here and they have this component. We're going to actually be using this component. I like it. This component here, we can add more icons to this. Okay, just to be having one, it helps us to use only one kind of icons. If you just like, for instance, material UI components, so they're using material UI here, for instance. So you can create your different component for mapping this. So let me just go ahead and add. So you can just go in the browser and you type in, let's type in material UI. Just say Expo icon. Just say Expo icons. Just say Expo vector icons. And I'm just going to search, for instance, like about, like you could just like look for any icon here. Okay, I'm just going to filter here and bring only for material icons. Okay, let's just say I just need a user, for instance. Oh, okay. I don't need this. So just say like this check. If I wanted to use this, so just say verify the user. So just come back here in this mapping, and I can just say that this, I can just say verify the user, verified user. And then let's give this one to be user. So that means you, let me just copy the name, verified user. So you can just say verify the user and verify the user. an unknown. Let's say that is coming from TDO icons, verified user. I said we could use something user.fill. If you put this, it says house.fill children is missing the from properties from icon mapping. I don't know what is going on here, but I just use something else. Okay, I'm just going to use one of these icons. Then just use this paper line.fill for this example, not to complicate things right now, because we may just end up in a berserk of complicating everything. So in here where we have the about, just going to name this about, and then I will just come here, leave this. Actually, they already have paper fill, so I'm just going to leave this here. So it means like if we go to the front pages, then we should just look for this one. So you can just go ahead and also do the same thing in the dashboard, and in the layout, you can also just go ahead and add only one. We have the dashboard, so you can just say here dashboard like this, and you say here dashboard, and you can just go ahead and remove this screen. Now we just show you how to hide screens, but let's put only one. So how do we navigate through all these ones? So you can just go ahead to this index, the one we have. I can just like add the links. Okay, so let's say we just have front pages. So I'm just say front pages, which is going to be href/. Now if I just go back here, okay, I can just do this, and you can see we have front pages /home. Then I'm just also going to say remove this. I can say slash. I say dashboard pages, dashboard, and I'm just going to say dashboard pages. Just like this. Let's go back. So now I'm just going to close this. So we have the front page. Let's just first add something here. Let's add them in class name. Add margin bottom of 3. Margin bottom of 3. Just like this. Okay. Just we have the front pages and the dashboard pages. So if I click on the front pages, you can select these. However much we have the same icon, but we have this different thing. We have the home, we have the about. Now, if you want to hide this front page thing here, just come back to the layout, this normal one here. Since these are all pages, because we are stacking them on this, so you can see, let me just give you an example. We have right now 3 groups. We have the tabs, front pages, and dashboard pages. So in the layout, we can just like this stack is representing these tabs. Then not found is representing this not found file. By the way, you can see this just as a not found. And now, so you can just like put one more, just duplicate this one here. And now we can just say slash. So here in the name, put front pages. So we can just say front pages. And then you can say header shown false. And then do the same thing for the dashboard. So just go down the dashboard. So you can just say here, dashboard pages and header shown false. So this one will hide the pages. So if we just go back, so you can see it is gone. Now we have a nice page, about page. I just go back to home. We have the home page. Okay. So of course we need a way of routing back. So you can just go, of course, simulate these pages. So you can just go here copy what we have put in the index and just copy this, and let's go back to this home here. So you could just also just of course go ahead and put it just like on these navigations, okay, but let's just like go ahead and do this. Let me just go in the home. Right now we are on the home, so you can just go here, and I'm just going to paste these links. Let's go ahead and import the link from Expo, just like that. And now let's just say tabs. This one should take us back to the tabs, and this is going to be tabs index, just like this. Or you could just like remove this and just say like this, and this should just say take us to the tabs explorer or tabs, since there is this index file within the tabs. Okay, so this index, by the way, like if you just want to create a default page, so you can see tabs index, so you can say front pages and you create just like the index, but just avoid to have like only one index here. So then here we can also just, so you can just go back the front pages, and we just like here can just click on the tabs. Yeah, so this takes us back to this here, where you can just now go back and check. Let's just check on the dashboard. So the dashboard, let's give it a margin, just class name, and let's say padding of 16, just like this, and you can see this pushes the text here. So basically right now we have the we get the sense, okay, you can see here we have only one item, so we get the sense of customizing, creating different navigation. So if we wanted, we could change this, instead of tab, we could change this one into a drawer, okay, and this looks like a drawer navigation. So it gives you a sense of one, creating pages. So we have looked at creating pages. We have talked about groups and layouts. We say that this is the same concept that we use in the web. Okay, we just keep on creating projects. If this has not sunk right now, it's going to still sync, because you're going to create a lot of projects using these kind of layouts. Okay. Okay, so that is nice. There is one still big concept about routing, okay? And I'm so much excited to show you that one. So to understand that one, that concept, let's go back to this normal index page. So of course we need to put also the link going back to home. Let me just go copy this and just paste it on this here. Import link. Okay, so now you can just say tabs, and this takes back to the home page. Okay, so nice. So let's go ahead and create. There is one concept I just want to show you that is really cool. Okay, so the concept of the detailed page. You know, in Next.js, when you're just going to a detailed page, let's say you have something and then like it is a list of things and you're going inside one single thing, like on an e-commerce or something, it is always a nice stuff. Like we have Params and SearchParams. So just talk about them because it is a serious good concept to understand. I don't want to exceed 2 hours with this. Yeah, we are in 1 hour 36. I don't want to exceed 2 hours, guys. I just want to make it simple and sweet so that we can just like continue doing nice things. So there are 2 concepts I just want to cover right now. Let's just dive them into. By the way, we just done a lot of those things already. We have done the components, styling, NativeWind. navigation. So right now on the navigation, they just like add one more here, which is just like params and search params and search params. Okay, params and search params. So let's say we have a list of things. Okay, let's say we have a list of things. I would just want to get an array of products. Let's just get here. I'm just going to go to cloud. I'm just going to create a list of products and just say, give me, create for me a list of 5. Okay, e-commerce products. Okay. Let's say an array. It's for me an array of 5 e-commerce products in TypeScript. Each has an ID. So just say maybe just going to say a CU ID has an ID string, just say string of format CUID, because this is like the one I normally just have. Image, name, and price. Yes, I just have that list of these 5 items. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this interface, so that's not something that you're scared of. So let me just go ahead and clean up this whole thing. Let me just say this. Now, if you look at some of these components they used from here, there is this parallax scroll view. Okay, it has some of the things here that they have calculated and uses some animation. We don't need this. We don't need this component. Okay, because this is just like having animated scroll view. I don't think we need it. Okay, if you just want to use it, you can keep on using it. You can see why using it, great, right? It was just having no problem. But I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. Maybe I'm just going to search about what is its purpose. But just have a clean file here. So I'm just going to go in the index. I'm just going to go ahead and clean everything up. So just simply remove everything and say rn-af. And just going to say here, this is home screen, just like this. Now, there is some other components we use. So if I just like do this, there is some other components we use. Okay, some other components you are going to find used a lot in this. There is safe area view, and it should also come from React Native. Now, there is this this is a good example. There is this tendency of getting safe area view in this React Native safe area context. Guys, make sure that all these things come from React Native. Just like this. So safe area view, if you just now go back, like this, I guess like it is for scrolling. I'm not sure like what's the purpose of this safe area view. We can't just say what is safe area view. There are some other components that you need just to understand from React Native. The purpose of safe area is to render content within a safe area boundaries of the device. It's currently only applicable to iOS devices with iOS version 11. So you can see safe area renders nested content and they give you this. So it seems like you don't need this if you're using Android. Is that what it means? That we cannot use on Android, because I've been using this a lot. Okay, but you can see it is currently only applicable to iOS devices with version 11 or later. By the way, all the components that we always use, they come from here, like the image, button component, image, flat list, and all this. By the way, there is also a button component itself, but we normally use TouchacleOpacity. So you can see the safe area view is here. I think that's the only component that we wanted to use. There is also keyboard avoiding view. Okay, we don't need this. I'm just going to go ahead and add my view here. I'll add a class name, and let's just see adding padding of 8 for now. Okay, so you can see have the index there. So what I just want is to add a list of products. Okay, so maybe we just go here. Let me just have, I had a design here. Okay, something like maybe like this, where you have the title and this. So we can just first create a grid view. So let me just add here maybe a title. So I will just add a title. Let's just say list of products. Let's give this one a class name. Just say, can I just bring this here? So I can just say, for instance, text to Excel, then font board, just like this. And then we can just, of course, obviously, we can just put it in a view. So if just say dot view, I think, no, I think it's view dot. So we can just say view, I think. Yeah. So you can just say view dot. Yeah. So you can just say view, and I'm just going to add this. Let me add here a padding Y of 6 again. So that then looks great. And then down here, we can just now add a grid. So we can just say view dot flex, and then dot gap of maybe 4. And then inside here, we can now add the items. So I want to add these items in here. So let's go ahead and get our items from here. So we have this. I'm just going to go ahead and copy entirely everything, just add it here. So this is something that you don't have to struggle with. So you have the products. They have images. So I just want to get some of the actual products. So just get Nick Air. So go to free pick and let's get these products. Air Max, looking blazing. I like it. I like it. Yes, I get this one. So copy image address and let's add it here. And then let's get this one. This is Sony headphones. So just let's get the headphones. Just get the ones. Maybe we could just get the ones a person is wearing. Just get these ones. Just like this. Okay, and then let's get another one, this watch. So you can say we have a nice place of getting, we just have a nice place of getting products. Just copy this. Okay, then we have Apple, MacBook Air M2, just like this. Of course, you can just go ahead and skip the video, like move it to where you have all these things. But I just want to feed in this for a second, and then we have last one is jacket. We have a jacket, so I'm just going to add this here. Nice jacket, nice jacket. Let's get this one. Copy image address. Just like this. Okay, so we have our images. So we just go here inside here where we have the flex. So this is the item. So I'm just going to say view. So inside the view, let's have the image. So I'm just going to first get this from React Native. Just like this. Okay. So this has the source, and you can just specify the URI, just of course like this. So just going to go here and do a map. So I'm just going to say in this, I'm just going to say products dot map, and then inside here you have the item, and then I'm just going to say return, and I'm just going to go ahead and return this view. Okay, so you can return this view. First of all, let's pass the key here is going to be item.id, and then URI. I'm just going to say item.image, just like this. Now below it, since we are trying to design this design here, I also leave this link to this design. You can just search it on Dribble. This is very common. So we have the title, and then the price there side. We don't have the rating, so we just have the title and the price below. So below this image, let me just go ahead and put the text. So you can put another view. Then inside, I'm just going to put text, and I will just say here item.title or .name, and then I will just add another view down, and I will just say .price. There is one more thing that is there. We have ID, image name, and price. Okay, that's the one. So on the price, we can just specify the dollar here. Okay, so you can just go back to our app and look at what we have basically right now. So you can see, like on the image, let's give it a class name. First of all, I'm just going to give it a height. So normally, if you're like putting the image, I just want always to give it, like, you know how images behave. Okay, so we could just give it maybe height of, let's just say 32 first. You can see them here right now. So depending on how you want this. Okay, so this is flex. So this, I'm just going to add this in. I'm just going to add this inside a view. So just add a view and just add this. Okay. So flex, and we have a gap of 4. Let me just go here and just say class name. You can just give this overflow. So just say overflow hidden. And can we just like give this, let's say give it a width of like maybe 24 for now, rounded. So I'm just going to say rounded to Excel. So we just get something like this. Now flex by default gives us flex column. So flex by default in a mobile app, it is always flex column by default, not flex. So you just say flex row. So you have to say flex row for them to be side by side like this. And I don't know if we can have flex wrap. I'm not sure if here it works. Yeah, so it actually works. Let's fix our images. So we just need to fix our images. Now on the image, first of all, you can just also give it something here. If you just look at this, you have one thing, I think it is, what do they name it? It is something that I've forgotten. So style. Okay, maybe we can just use it as a CSS thing. We can just say give it here, and then you can just give it here like object fit. So yes, say object. So we have contain, we have cover. So I'm just going to give it cover, and for the width, I'll just give it width full. And for this one, let's give this one width of 32. I just tried like 32. Yeah. Can we just remove? Let's first remove the width. Okay. So you can see because the images are having width full, so others are taking more bigger width. So what I'm just going to do is I can come here. So to the container, because of this, okay, we can just also give the width of this. Let's just make them maybe even height 32. Oh, width 32. So like this gives us this. Maybe wait. What about giving this to this card here? And for the text, if you realize we have this container here, or actually just like do this, let's give this container a class name. So this is the whole container for the whole entire card. So this is the one that's supposed to have like width. So if we just say like width 32, like this would affect the whole container. Of course, the image, they just say width full, just like this. And maybe height. So height auto, like you need to give a height. They just say height 32. Okay, this is nice. Now for the width here, can I just say a half? Like, does that one even work? Okay, so because it cannot be a half, 50%, can we specify like 40%? I'm not sure if percentages work direct like this. Yeah. Just say 45. Nice. So 45 looks good. Okay, so we can just go ahead and make the prices more bold. So just say class name. Just say font bold. And Then I just say for this class name, so just say padding y of maybe of 2, just like this. Yeah. Okay, so the design part of things, of course, we all know that we can design this nicely. So what I just want is what I want is add a link. So while we have this view, I'm just going to wrap this whole entire view thing. I'm just going to wrap it in a link. So this, I'm just going to name it link from Expo link href. So just try to get like a detailed page. So how we can create the detailed page is very easy. Okay, we can just come here in the tabs and we add the detailed page. I can just name it as product detail. Now let's just say first do this. I'm just going to create a folder. So I'm just say products. And inside, I'm just going to create the product details. So here I can say product ID. Look at this. Like this is the same thing like with Next.js. Like we also put the ID dynamic like this. So this is not a something different. If you're just like routing to a dynamic route, like you put this ID like this. So you have products and then ID. I can just like do this. And now here you can say RNF, and let's put a product detailed page. So you can just say product detail. And the only thing we just need to do is let's go to the index and export our products so that we can access them their side. So like export this. And let me just go ahead and copy just a product. I'll just go on this and I will just also copy this whole entire view and let me bring it to this here. Let's paste it here. So here what we just need, first of all, we just need a single item. So I'm just going to get this single item like this. Let's get the image from React and they remove this key, and let's also remove this query view now. And this one, we're just going to use the products. So let me just put the image here. Let's first work on the detailed page. So I'll go back the index. I will get one item. Let's just get this jacket. I will go back the detailed page. Let's just add the link here. Sorry, just the link. I'm just going to say jacket. Remove this here, just say jacket. And then for the price, they just say 300, just like this. Now we just need to see this detailed page. So how do you route to this detailed page? I'm just going to say here, detailed page, detailed page. And the width here, we're giving it 45. I'm not sure if let's just give it a width is 4. Width is 4. Maybe let's add padding px of 16. I'm also just going to, yeah, this is the rounded. So this is a detailed page. So how do you write to the detailed page? If you come back here and you do this slash, this link should just show you that you can route the detailed page like this. So if we just go back on this, I can click on any of these links. Now, let's just also make the image clickable. So you can also wrap this whole entire thing on the image. So I'm just going to turn this into a link, href, just like this. Okay, so you know the link even on the web has different things. I don't know if we should just give it block if it changes into anything, but right now let me just go with this. I have no problem with that. But if you wanted, you could have a view wrapping on this, okay, if wanted, but let's just go with this. So if I click on this, I go to the detailed page. So you can say this is a detailed page. So let's go and visit the detailed page for a second. So if you just go the detailed page, this, whatever we are viewing here is this. We have text, detailed page. So here you would want this one to be a title. Let's say my jacket product. Okay. And then you have the image. And then down here, we can add the price. Okay. Just add the price. Maybe let's just say text 3XL. Just like this. And let's add some padding. Okay. So we have added some padding here. And you could also just say text center. So this text center. Okay. And I'm also going to add margin top of 8. Yeah, so this looks good. This is our detailed page. You can create a nice one. And you already have, like, after creating this, you can see on the navigation, there is this product ID. We're going to fix that, but let's focus on getting this dynamic. So going back to the index where we have our list of products, we know very well that we can just go to the link and we're supposed to put here the dynamic ID. Now, when we try to put the dynamic ID, if I just do this, put this and then try to do this, and then I put here, I make this dynamic. I say $item.id, just like this. Now, when you do that, the first thing is that because all these routes are typed, like the routes that you see here, whatever you pass in here has to be a route. It has to be typed. So this, because it's dynamic, they no longer understand what's going on. That's why we are getting this error. So the easiest way to solve this is I can first go ahead and return back. Let's return back whatever that was there before. So this one is typed. Okay, this one is typed. They understand it. So how we can do this is get inside, put another one, and inside here we can access two things. The first one is the path name. So this is the path name. And the second one is the params. So we can pass here the params, and this is an object. We can pass an ID. So for instance, want to pass the param of an ID, and let's say this is going to be item.id. Nice. So let's copy this href even to down here. Just like this. Okay. So let's go back and now click on any item. Let's click on this. So we are routed back to this navigation here. So on the detailed page, let me just go to the detailed page. How do we capture this ID that we passed in? So you can say const here, we have a hook called use search. I think it's called use search, not search params, local something. It is use local search params from Expo, just like this. And now you can pass in also the types here. You can pass in and say that I expect to get an ID of type string. And then here you can just get the ID. Then we can just say const product. So you can say const product is equal to products dot find. And then we can find, we pass in an item, and we want to get an item whose ID is equal to ID, just like this ID here. So here you can get all the params. If you passed in some others, color, title, you can just get them from here. So product, now we have the product. You can just say if no product. Maybe you can say if no product, because whatever is a return from this is always product or undefined. So you can just say if no product. Okay, we can just return something else. So you can just return a view, just a view, and then let's say put text. No product found. No product found. This is you can create a 404 for this. And if there is product, we can just change this one. Product dot name. Then you're just going to put the image. So you just say product dot. Oh, wait. They import the product. What is this? Is how we imported the product. Want to get the product product dot image. They say what is the error that is going on right now? Unexpected passes, comma, where did we pass the comma? Come on. Let me just remove this. And just say product dot image. Like that. And here we have the price. This is going to be product dot price. Nice. So now you see we have the dynamic. Of course, we can add the back. So here we can just come here on top of this product. We can just add something else. So here, and you can just add the back button. So you can just come here. And you can just like name it as a link, or you can just say touchable. Why don't we use a TouchacleOpacity like this? And then inside you can put text and you say back. And then here we can say on press. So you say on press. And then inside here, you can just create a function and just say router. So they also give us a router. The way we have router from use router or next navigation, here we have router from Expo router dot push. In fact, dot back. So they have this function dot back. Okay, so you just do this. So you have the back. Let's give it, put it also in a view. So put it in a view, and let's give the view a class name, padding top of maybe 12. Just push it a little bit down. So I have the back button, so I can just click back and it goes back to this list. So now if I click on the jacket, we have the jacket, click back, Okay, so this is how you get the search, the params and the search params. So if we wanted to send, for instance, color, okay, if we had like the something else to send, we could just go ahead and send it onto the via this one. Okay, let's say maybe we could just go ahead and attach like the colors. So on this product, you could just say attach, for instance, the color. And let's say, for instance, this is text green 600. So you could just, just copy this. And you could just say color is a string. Okay. And then let's say attach it to any of these. Just copy this. And you can just say orange. Then you say tier. And then here, then you see here purple. Okay, and then finally just you have maybe blue. Okay, so then we can pass this. Let's just pass the color like this color, and we just say this item dot color, just like this. And then let's just go ahead and click on this product, and let's go ahead and get the color on this. So you can just come here and say color, and then you have to add this also, because if you just add it here, you have to add it also on these types. So we can just say color, which is a string. Now we can just maybe style this with the color. Let's say here the text. Let's just do this, and then you can just say put this, and then I just want to add the color somewhere. So I just want to say dollar color, just like this. So you can see that the color comes here, and this is sent as a search param. So this is how you can send your params and search params, just like this. So if you just go back, let's click on another one like this jacket. It has blue. And then you search on this, then it has the Apple MacBook. Okay, so there is, I think, one concept that is remaining. Let's say the time, if we don't have, oh my God, we don't have much time, but this is really good. What I just wanted to show you is that you can just also use all the hooks, but this has been really good. Oh, wait, before we go away, is removing this from the navigation. Okay, this product ID thing here, you see here. Now, how the navigation works is that everything that is within that folder. So if you look in this folder here, we have 3 links in the tabs. We have the layout, which is not included, of course. Then the pages, we have the index, which is this home. We have the Explorer, which is this Explorer. And then we have the products index. As you can see, products index, it is this one here. So what if I want to remove this? I don't want, or I want to hide this from appearing here. So it is very easy. You can just go ahead and let's go here. Where do we go? Where? So just go in the layout that is in the tabs here in this layout. So you need to make sure that all the links you have here, you have them here within the layout. So just do this, duplicate, and let's add the name. The name is the way you see it here. Okay, products So I guess the way we have it here, I'm just going to say products / ID. Let me just say like this. Okay, so this is the name of the page. Then within the options, of course, now we can name it nicely. We can just say, if we say detail, like this would show up here. You see, it is naming itself detail. So this is the thing, but we don't want it to show. Instead, want to hide it and remove it here. So it is very easy. One line, simply within the options, add href and just add it to be null, just like this. And this one takes it away from the navigation. So if I click back, so you can see now on the navigation, I don't have it. It is nowhere. Okay, which is really cool. So lastly, before we go is that, so now you can design this whole design now. I believe you can do that. Okay, you can design this whole entire design the way it is now. I want you guys to go ahead and try it out. So one thing I want you to try out, or one thing that I want us to do before we conclude this was, let me see, we have seen the params. We have built some components, which is nice. I want us to do data fetching, which might not allow, but basically the you can use the use effect. Okay, you can use effect the normal way we use effect, like the way these products we have them here. We can just say just go ahead and use the use effect to fetch things. What else did I want to cover in this? Okay, in this documentation I have here, you can beautify and create more nice, but I find that the icons already they give you here, like they are already looking really great. Okay, but you can of course just go ahead and customize, use your own colors. So I gave you something here to customize for that. There is one, so you can just say customize and create your own colors you want to use. They already have these const colors, so you can build on top of that. If you go to constants, they have these colors. Okay, this is why you can change the colors they're using here, and I want to keep it that way. This is really good. Okay, so for instance, I can update the colors at once by just copying and replacing these ones. Okay, and if I just go back to the app, you can see that the active now changes if I just click over like this, and it's just because I've changed this color here. Okay, nice. So in this, and this is how you can also update your default colors. You can also update the Tailwind config to put your custom colors so that you can access them, like the color primary, secondary, and all these. You can just access them like this. You can extend this here. Then you can also create the extended the navigation, and you put all the icons. So this is what I wanted to show you, that you can put all the icons for the common things. So you can just go ahead and extend your icon mapping so that you use different icons. Okay, and yeah, so that is it, what we have done in today's episode. So I'm just going to stop here. I don't want just to make it more longer than this, but this was good, and let me hope this covers the basic concepts. I'm just going to pause a little bit, and I'm just going to come with the second video where we're just going to cover more concepts. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.